Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over this week's slate of NFL games and predicting who's going to come out on top in each game. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. It would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into the video and I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Here we go. We're week 5 now. We're getting to the game picks for this week, and let's start with the Patriots and the Texans. Texans got absolutely destroyed last week, 4-0 to the Bills, and the Patriots. It's been a little bit of a rocky start to the season, but they've shown some promise at times in games. Mac Jones has looked up and down at times, but overall, they're a more talented team than Houston. And Houston, the way they played last week, it was hard to watch. Losing the Bills by that many points. The Patriots got this one. I'm going to take them on the road in Houston. Now we've got the Titans and the Jags. Jags at home historically have not been very good against Tennessee, especially stopping Derrick Henry. They typically have not been good in that regard. Titans did lose last week to the Jets, though, so I think really anything's possible. Jags lost a really close game to a solid Bengals team. Bengals team that's looked really good after a few weeks. And you know what? I think this might be an upset here, but I want to actually have the Jags in this one. The Titans have been very one-dimensional to start the year, really utilizing Derrick Henry a lot. And sure, that works. But after losing to a Jets team last week, they're really going to need to open things up, be more flexible with their offensive game plan and their offensive philosophy if they want to win more games. Also, the Jags last week didn't look terrible. It was really just a second half absolute blow up after a pretty good first half effort against that Bengals team. So I'm going to take the Jags in this one. A little bit of a sneaky pick here, but let's have the Jags in this one. Now we've got the Broncos and the Steelers. The Broncos weren't able to beat the Ravens last week. The Ravens were able to really walk over that Broncos defense and really do whatever they want, which was kind of surprising after, the Broncos have opened up the season pretty well defensively. The Steelers, on the other hand, weren't able to beat the Packers, losing to them 27-17 last week. So two teams coming off losses, and I think Pittsburgh's in a worse spot, to be honest. Although, Teddy Bridgewater might have a concussion. I don't actually know the severity of that. I should probably know that. Anyway, I think that I like what the Broncos have been able to do, and especially with the quarterback situation going on in Pittsburgh. Is Big Ben really there anymore? I don't know how much he's got left, and he's had a really tough start to the year. The Steelers have been banged up. They're not as good defensively as they have been in years past. You know what? I think a sneaky Broncos win could be happening here. So I'm going to take the Broncos. I feel like this is kind of like upsets. Maybe not. I don't know how big of an upset the Broncos taking the Broncos are here. Let's move on to the Browns and the Chargers. These are two teams that have started the year pretty solidly. I like what the Browns were able to do last week against Minnesota. And the Chargers, after beating the Chiefs a few weeks ago, they look like a team that can really stay with some of these teams. However, I like the Browns in this one. Even though they're on the road, I like what Baker Mayfield's been able to do. I like the run game that they have there. And I like how they've been able to play defensively. They held that Vikings team, which has been a really good offensive team so far this year, both running and throwing the football, to only 7 points. So at the end of the day, I'm going to take the Browns in this one just for that defensive success that they've had, as well as, that high-powered offense that they're capable of running the football, as well as throwing the football through the air, too. Now, this honestly could be America's game of the week here. I mean, Bills and Chiefs, absolutely massive matchup. But for me, I think that, even though the Bills have come off two massive wins, back-to-back weeks, 35-0 against the Dolphins, 40-0 against the Houston Texans, they've given up 0 points in the last 2 weeks, have scored 75 points in the last 2 weeks. I mean, they are high-flying right now. But I think if anyone's going to stop them, it's going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be the Chiefs. And the Bills really haven't had any competition for the past 2 weeks. They've been able to do whatever they want. However, against a Chiefs team that scored 42 points last week, I have a feeling the defense is going to have some problems, right? They might have had it a little bit too easy the past 2 weeks. With that said, I'm going to have the Chiefs in this one. They've really made Clyde Edwards-Helaire a staple of that offense. I mean, he's had back-to-back weeks of over 100 rushing yards, has found the end zone each of the last 2 weeks. Mahomes has looked really good throwing the football. Travis Kelce's been good all year. Tyreek Hill. I think that Bills defense will be on their heels. But more importantly, I think that the offense for Buffalo hasn't been tested. They haven't been tested, and although the Chiefs' defense is up and down, and they did give up a lot of points to an Eagles team that has struggled this season, and isn't considered one of the better offenses in football, I still like the Chiefs in this one. I really do. I think the Chiefs, especially at home, going to be a tough matchup for that Buffalo team. This is at the end of the day, this is going to be a real telltale sign for where the Bills are. Do they rank better than the Chiefs? Where do they rank in the league? We've seen them really play some easy opponents to start the year so far. Obviously, they did lose to Pittsburgh. But overall, I mean, this is a big telltale game for both teams, for the Bills and for the Chiefs, to really show what they're made of moving forward. Now we've got the Colts and the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. I gotta take the Baltimore this one. I thought they did a really good job against a good, tough defense last week against Denver. And the Colts. I mean, they were able to beat the Dolphins pretty easily, but I think Baltimore is a tougher matchup. They're better defensively than Miami. I think, to be honest. Actually, I don't know how true that is. Um, Baltimore's offense in reality though is better. They're able to move the football. They're able to get production out of the run game and pass game via the play action. Dolphins offense was terrible last week, and I think that with Carson Wentz not being 100%, as well as Quentin Nelson not being there, and Baltimore being able to shut down the run at times, I like this Baltimore team on Monday Night Football. Now we've got a very interesting game between the Falcons and the Jets. This is actually one of the more interesting games I think this week. The Falcons are coming off a really close loss to Washington, and the Jets are coming off their first win against the season against the Tennessee Titans. And I think the Jets will ride that hot streak. That Falcons defense is the big issue with that team. The Jets offense has been one of the brighter spots. Zach Wilson last week looked really good. Corey Davis looked really good. The running game and Michael Carter, he had a touchdown. And although that offense isn't great, I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong. I think that against a Falcons defense, that's their real ability to pop off and have a big game. So I'm going to take the Jets in this one. Now that we've got the Packers and the Bengals, the Packers have had a really weird start to the year. They've been seemingly up and down, but they are coming off a win against Pittsburgh last week. But I like the Bengals in this one. At home, they've been very, very good of late. They did beat the Jags just barely last week, but their run game looks good. Their passing game looks really good. Joe Burrow looks healthy. He looks comfortable under center. He looks really confident throwing the football. Jamar Chase looks really, really elite. And at the end of the day, I don't know how sold I am on this Packers team. Coming to the year, I was really sold on them. I thought that they'd be a top 5 team in the league. I'm not so convinced about that anymore. Sure, they beat Pittsburgh last week, and they're coming off some wins. But after to start the year losing to the Saints, and then they battled with the 49ers. I like the Bengals as a sneaky pick in this week against the Packers. Now we've got the Dolphins and the Bucks. It's hard to be a Dolphins fan right now. It really is. Jacoby Brissett is terrible. The offensive line is terrible. And you know what the Bucks are great at? They're great at winning football games. They really are. And that's why I'm going to have them beating the Miami Dolphins in this one. I think that the Bucks are really going to be able to just throw all over the Dolphins. They're going to be able to run all over the Dolphins, and they're going to be able to do really whatever they want to the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are playing some of the worst football in the league right now. So I think that the Bucks will be able to coast in this one to a victory. Now, though, let's move on to the Chicago Bears and the Las Vegas Raiders. I like what the Raiders have done to start this year. I mean, they have been absolutely phenomenal. Darren Waller's looked good. Derek Carr's looked good. Josh Jacobs, when healthy, has looked good. Kenny Drake has gotten involved. That offensive line honestly looks fine. I mean, they lost a lot this offseason on the offensive line, but they've been much better defensively too. Casey Hayward's looked good in the secondary. Trayvon Mullins looked good. And the Bears, although they are coming off a win against the Detroit Lions last week, and Justin Fields looked really good, and their offense was going at times. I still like the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders have been really good to start the year, and I think that'll continue this week against the Bears. Now we've got the Rams as well as the Seahawks. And last week was I think a sign that the Seahawks are not the best team in that division anymore. I know they beat the 49ers, and the Rams aren't even the best team in that division either. They lost to the Cardinals. And both the Seahawks and the Rams have struggled against the Cardinals, and I think that at the end of the day, this is a really interesting matchup. I think whoever wins this game is the second best team in the division, and for me, that's the Rams. I think their defense is better. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, but more importantly, I like what they have there defensively. But even offensively too, I think that they're better. They're a better offense. I think Cooper Kupp has done a really good job this year. Sure, he had a down game last week, but their ability to run the football too at times. I think Darrell Henderson's been up and down. Sony Michel had a rough week last week. But Matthew Stafford, that was really the first game of the season where he's been under pressure a lot, and he had a tough job throwing the football deep downfield to Deshaun Jackson. But I just think the Rams have more weapons on offense. I think that they're slightly a more explosive offense, and defensively I like them more. So I think that they're going to be able to win this game even on the road on Thursday Night Football in Seattle. Now we've got the Saints and we've got Washington, and to be honest, this is an interesting matchup. The Saints are coming off a tough loss against the New York Giants. Which honestly a shocking loss to the New York Giants last week, where Washington beat the Falcons in really what was a tight game, to be honest. I like for me in this situation, I think that Washington gets the win. I think that the Saints obviously they came off the loss, but they're gonna have they're gonna have a tougher defensive matchup against Washington than they did against the Giants. And more importantly, I think honestly the Washington's offense isn't as bad as others may think of it. I like what Taylor Heineke's able to do using his legs to extend plays, using his running backs in check down situations. He's looked really good to start the year after Ryan Fitzpatrick went down, and I think that he can get a sneaky win here against this Saints team. Now, though, let's go to the Lions and the Vikings. And for me, it's got to be the Vikings in this one. The Vikings have looked pretty good to start the year. I know that they lost to the Browns last week, but they were in that game. The Lions haven't been so great to start the year, although they were able to stick with the Ravens, and they did lose to the Bears. But the Vikings are the second best team in that division, and I think that they're going to be able to really use the run game effectively to beat this Lions team. Now, though, we've got the Eagles and the Panthers, and last week was a wake-up call for that Panthers offense, as well as their defense, right? At the end of the day, the Panthers, they were 3-0, but they got killed by the Cowboys, and that's going to be honest. Like, the Cowboys are a really good team this year, and for those reasons, I think that the Eagles end up winning this game. I think that the Panthers are a little bit more at their on their feet now. They're backtracking a little bit, and I think that makes it a little bit difficult for them to really push through next week and get a win. Also, Philadelphia's coming off a really big game last week against a Chiefs team that obviously they lost to, but they put up a good fight and they put up a good effort. And to be honest, I think that with that said, I like the Eagles in this one. I really do. I like what they were able to do offensively with Jalen Hurts. I thought Devontae Smith looked absolutely fantastic last week. I really like the Eagles in this game. And likewise, I like the Cowboys in this game too against the Giants. I thought although the Giants did get a win last week against the Saints, I thought that the Cowboys have been playing some excellent football. They finally got the run game going with Pollard and Zeke. Zeke had over 140 rushing yards. He had a rushing touchdown. Pollard had over 60 rushing yards. It's really a two-headed beast there. The Giants have had some issues stopping the run, and more importantly, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb, I mean, they're throwing the football really, really effectively. Also to the tight end, Dalton Schultz, who I think had a touchdown last week. So I really like what the Cowboys are doing on the outside of the football, and I'm going to have them winning in this game. Also, now we've got the 49ers and the Cardinals, and although I like the 49ers and I think that the NFC West is arguably the best division in all of football, it's got to be the Cardinals in this one for me. They're coming off a very big win last week against the Rams. They're won 4 in a row to start the year. Their defense is looking excellent with J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones, as well as their secondary with Budda Baker. But more importantly, that offense is cooking. Kyler Murray is still doing his thing. DeAndre Hopkins is still doing his thing. That is a very, very, very good offense there, and I think that they're going to be able to win against the San Francisco 49ers. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.